The house on Magnolia Street. The house on Magnolia Street looked tired from the outside. The paint was peeling. The front steps leaned like they had been through too many arguments. The porch light flickered whenever it felt like it, and the mailbox hung sideways like it had finally given up on life. But inside was a whole production. 5 people lived there, and every single one of them believed they were the main character. The house belonged to Mother Celeste Monroe, a ballroom legend with a sharp tongue, a soft heart, and a robe collection that made her look rich even when the gas bill said otherwise. Celeste had taken in children who were grown enough to pay bills but young enough to still make foolish decisions. There was Kingston, who worked at a hotel downtown and came home every day acting like customer service was slowly destroying his soul. There was Milan, a content curator who treated Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and every blog post like a full-time career, even though the checks were still playing hide and seek. There was Rico, who made money doing online surveys and swore he was building a financial empire one 75-cent questionnaire at a time. There was Taj, a makeup artist with a mouth so messy he could turn a whisper into a neighborhood scandal. And then there was Blue, the baby of the house, a singer, dancer, dreamer, and part-time heartbreaker who was always about to get serious but never quite made it there. Together they were called the House of Monroe. Not because they were rich. Not because they were perfect. But because Celeste said, if we're going to struggle, we're going to struggle with a name that sounds expensive. Every morning in the house started the same way. Celeste yelling, "Who left this sink full of dishes?" Silence. "Don't everybody get quiet now. Last night y'all were louder than a family reunion with bad potato salad." Kingston walked into the kitchen wearing his hotel uniform, eyes half open, holding a travel mug with nothing in it. "I don't know who left the dishes, Mother. I just got home late." Celeste turned slowly. "Kingston, you got home at 9:15. That's late emotionally." Taj walked in behind him wearing a headscarf and sunglasses. "Please don't start. My spirit is still buffering." Celeste pointed at the sink. "Your spirit better buffer its way to that sponge." Rico came downstairs with his laptop tucked under his arm like a businessman heading to Wall Street. "Good morning, family. I just qualified for a survey about toothpaste preferences. Big money day." Kingston blinked. "How much?" "Maybe $2. Taj removed his sunglasses. "Maybe." Rico nodded proudly. "It depends if they don't screen me out." Celeste stared at him. "Baby, you are in a toxic relationship with those surveys." Rico clutched his laptop. "Don't disrespect my income stream." Milan came in last, holding his phone out in front of him, recording. "Good morning, my beautiful people. Welcome back to another day in the House of Monroe, where the rent is high, the shade is free, and somebody always lying." Celeste snatched a dish towel from the counter. "Milan, if you put me on the internet in this robe, I will become your first copyright strike." Milan lowered the phone. "Mother, the people love authenticity. The people can love me after I brush my teeth." Blue floated into the kitchen singing a dramatic note for no reason. Celeste closed her eyes. "Lord, here comes Broadway on a budget." Blue smiled. "Good morning to the family, the fans, and the haters watching from the bushes." Taj smirked. "Who is watching you from the bushes?" "You'd be surprised." "No, I wouldn't." The kitchen erupted. That was the thing about the House of Monroe. Nobody could finish a sentence without somebody throwing shade on it. But underneath the jokes, everybody knew the truth. They needed each other. Kingston needed the house because the world outside treated him like he was invisible unless he was carrying luggage, checking reservations, or saying, "Enjoy your stay." Milan needed the house because creating content every day felt glamorous online but lonely in real life. Rico needed the house because he was trying to prove that he could make money his own way, even if his own way sometimes paid less than a vending machine refund. Taj needed the house because makeup clients came and went, but family stayed, even when they annoyed him. Blue needed the house because dreams were heavy, and sometimes you needed people who believed in you when you were too tired to believe in yourself. And Celeste needed them because after years of ballroom trophies, applause, betrayal, love, loss, and survival, she had learned one thing. A house was not about walls. It was about who came back after the fight. That Friday evening, the house was buzzing because the Magnolia Ball was 1 week away. The Magnolia Ball was not the biggest ball in the city, but it was the messiest, and everybody knew messy brought the crowd. Celeste had decided the House of Monroe would return to the floor. "We are not going there to participate," she announced in the living room. Everyone sat around her like she was holding court. "We are going there to remind these girls, boys, and in-betweens that we still know how to clear a room." Taj raised his hand. With talent or attitude? Celeste smiled. Both. Milan leaned forward. This could be content. Behind the scenes, preparation, interviews, maybe a mini documentary. Kingston sighed. Can we do something without turning it into content? Milan gasped. That is such a hurtful thing to say to a content curator. You curate memes and gossip. I curate culture. Taj coughed. Culture with spelling errors. Milan pointed at him. You were blocked from my next post. I was never following you. Blue stood up. I want to perform. Celeste looked him up and down. Perform what? My new song. Taj whispered. Here we go. Blue ignored him. It's called Velvet Tears on the Dance Floor. The room went silent. Kingston rubbed his forehead. Why are your song titles always a cry for help? Blue placed a hand over his heart. Because I feel deeply. Rico nodded. I support it. It sounds expensive. Taj laughed. Everything sounds expensive to you because you make 48 cents every 6 surveys. Rico snapped his laptop shut. I made $14 yesterday. Celeste raised an eyebrow. Doing what? Surveys. For how many hours? Rico paused. Let's not focus on time. The house screamed laughing, but laughter turned serious when Celeste pulled out a folder. What is that? Kingston asked. Celeste opened it. Categories for the ball. Milan grabbed his phone. Wait, let me record this. No, just audio. No, boomerang. Milan. He put the phone down. Celeste read from the list. Face, runway, realness, performance, best dressed house, and one new category, chosen family eleganza. Blue's eyes lit up. That's us. Celeste nodded. That better be us. Kingston leaned back. I work every day. I don't know if I have time to rehearse. Celeste looked at him. Kingston, you have time to complain, so you have time to rehearse. Taj clapped once. That part. Kingston glared at him. And you have time to gossip, so maybe you can sew. Taj clutched his chest. I do not sew. I enhance. Milan grinned. This is good. Conflict sells. Celeste turned. Milan, if you say content one more time, I'm putting you in the basement with the winter coats. The next week was chaos. Every corner of the house became a workshop. Fabric covered the dining table. Shoes lined the hallway. Makeup brushes filled the bathroom. Someone left glitter in the kitchen, and Celeste almost called a house meeting about spiritual disrespect. Kingston came home from work exhausted every night, but still rehearsed. He would walk into the living room, loosen his tie, kick off his shoes, and say, I hate all of you. Then he would hit his runway walk like he was born under a spotlight. Taj watched him one night and said, see, that hotel lobby taught you how to serve. Kingston spun. That hotel taught me how not to fight guests. Same thing. Rico was in charge of music, not because he was the most qualified, but because he had the most free time. He sat at the table clicking through tracks while also answering surveys. One survey asked, how often do you buy frozen vegetables? Rico yelled, Mother, how often do we buy frozen vegetables? Celeste yelled back, when we're broke or pretending to be healthy. Rico typed, weekly. Milan spent the week filming everything he could. He interviewed Taj while Taj glued rhinestones onto a jacket. What does ballroom mean to you? Taj didn't look up. It means if your outfit is ugly, somebody will tell you before God does. Milan loved that. He interviewed Kingston. What are you bringing to the floor? Kingston stared into the camera. Trauma, rent stress, and hotel discount energy. Milan whispered, powerful. He interviewed Blue. What should people expect from your performance? Blue flipped his hair. Emotion, passion, vocals, movement, a little heartbreak. Taj yelled from across the room, and hopefully pitch. Blue threw a pillow at him. By Thursday, the drama arrived. It always did. Taj came home furious, slamming the front door so hard the porch light flickered like it was scared. Celeste looked up from her sewing. Either you have news or you broke my door. Taj dropped his bag. Somebody is spreading rumors. Milan instantly reached for his phone. Celeste slapped his hand. No, Milan whispered, this is literally my job. Taj paced. Somebody said I stole a client's man. Rico looked confused. Did you? The room went silent. Taj slowly turned. Rico, I'm just asking because details matter. I did not steal anybody's man. Kingston entered from the kitchen. Did the man leave willingly? Taj pointed at him. You too. Celeste sighed. Start from the beginning. Taj explained that a rival makeup artist named Duchess Lala had posted a shady status online. Some people paint faces by day and steal husbands by night. See you at the ball. No names were mentioned, but everybody knew. Because in their community, a vague post was basically a public announcement with jazz hands. Milan read the post out loud and gasped. She put the lipstick emoji, the tea emoji, and the coffin emoji. That is a full accusation. Taj fumed. I have never stolen a husband. A boyfriend, maybe in my reckless years, but never a husband. Kingston nodded. Growth. Celeste stood up. We are not responding online. Everyone gasped. Milan nearly dropped his phone. Mother, with all due respect, silence is not good for engagement. Celeste pointed at him. I said no. Taj crossed his arms. So what do we do? Celeste smiled slowly. We respond on the floor. The day of the Magnolia Ball arrived with rain, wind, and an attitude from everybody. The house was running late. Of course, Rico couldn't find the music file. Kingston's pants were too tight. Milan's phone battery was at 12%. Taj was yelling because someone used his setting spray. Blue was warming up his voice in the bathroom and refusing to come out. Celeste stood in the hallway wearing a gold outfit that made her look like the rich auntie who knew where bodies were buried. Everybody downstairs in 5 minutes. She yelled. Blue opened the bathroom door. Can I get 10? No, I'm protecting my instrument. Your instrument better protect this Uber rating. They finally made it to the ball 40 minutes late, which Celeste called fashionably dramatic. The venue was packed. The music shook the walls. People posed in mirrors, touched up makeup, hugged fake friends, avoided real enemies, and whispered like professional investigators. Milan's eyes widened. This is content heaven. Celeste gave him one look. He put the phone halfway down. Fine, content purgatory. Across the room stood Duchess Lala, covered in silver sequins and bad intentions. She smiled at Taj. Taj smiled back. It was not a friendly smile. It was the kind of smile that said, I already wrote your eulogy in lip liner. Kingston leaned close. Please don't fight. Taj waved him off. I don't fight in public. Celeste coughed. Taj corrected himself. Anymore. The categories began. Face came first. Taj entered and served cheekbones, attitude, and clean blending. Duchess Lala stood near the judges, whispering. Taj saw her. Instead of getting nervous, he walked harder. He turned. He posed. He smiled like he had never heard a rumor in his life. The judges gave him 10s. The crowd screamed. Duchess Lala stopped smiling. Taj walked back to the house section and whispered, Tell her husband I said hello. Kingston choked on his water. Next came runway. Kingston was nervous. He stood backstage, breathing hard. I can't do this. Celeste took his face in her hands. Listen to me. Every day you walk through that hotel with people talking down to you, ignoring you, demanding from you. Tonight, you don't walk for them. You walk for yourself. Kingston swallowed. Then his name was called. He stepped onto the floor. At first, he was stiff. Then the beat dropped. Something changed. Kingston remembered every rude guest, every fake smile, every time he had to swallow his pride just to keep a job. And he walked, not like an employee, like an owner. The crowd lost it. Taj screamed. Rico jumped up and down. Milan filmed with tears in his eyes, whispering, This is cinema. Kingston won. When he came back, Celeste hugged him. He tried to act cool, but his eyes were wet. I needed that, he said softly. Celeste kissed his forehead. I know. Then came performance. Blue was ready, or at least Blue claimed he was ready. His song started. The beat was dramatic. The lights hit his face. He moved across the floor with confidence. Then the microphone made a terrible screeching sound. The music skipped. For one terrifying second, everything went wrong. Taj whispered, Lord, not technical difficulties with emotions. Blue froze. The room waited. Then Celeste shouted, Sing. So Blue did. No track, no tricks, just voice. His voice filled the room, shaky at first, then stronger. He sang like someone who had been laughed at, doubted, loved badly, left behind, and still chose to stand up. The crowd went quiet. Then they stood. Even Duchess Lala looked impressed, though she tried to hide it. Blue didn't win the category. But he won the room. And sometimes that mattered more. Finally came chosen family eleganza. The House of Monroe gathered backstage. Their outfits were gold, black, and deep red. Not perfect, but powerful. Celeste looked at each of them. No matter what happens, remember this. We are not here because life was easy. We are here because life tried us, and we still showed up dressed. Milan's eyes watered. Mother, that was beautiful. Celeste nodded. You may quote me. Milan lifted his phone. Already did. They walked out together. Celeste in the center. Kingston strong and proud. Milan glowing like he had finally realized he was more than his views. Rico smiling like $14 could still turn into a dream. Taj shining with beauty and revenge. Blue walking with his head high. The crowd cheered before they even posed. The judges watched closely. The House of Monroe moved as one. They told a story without saying a word. A story about survival. About chosen family. About shade and love living under the same roof. About bills, heartbreak, reheated leftovers, online rumors, late-night dreams, and morning arguments over dishes. When the scores came in, they won. Celeste closed her eyes. For a second, she was not the loud mother yelling about rent. She was a woman who had built something from broken pieces. Something real. Something worth protecting. The house erupted. Taj hugged Kingston. Rico hugged Blue. Milan hugged everybody while still recording. Celeste held the trophy and said, "Don't drop this. We don't have insurance." After the ball, they went home tired, hungry, and still in full makeup. They ordered food they could not afford and ate it in the living room. The trophy sat on the coffee table. Rico stared at it. "I feel rich." Kingston laughed. "You always feel rich when you didn't pay." Milan uploaded a short video from the ball. Within an hour, it started getting views. A lot of views. Then shares. Then comments. People loved them. Not just the outfits. Not just the performance. Them. Their chemistry. Their humor. Their story. Milan stared at his phone. "Oh my god." Taj leaned over. "What? We're going viral." Celeste looked suspicious. "Is that good or do we need medicine?" The room laughed. Milan's hands shook. "No, mother. This is good. Really good." Blue smiled. "See, the world was waiting for us." Kingston rolled his eyes. The world was not waiting. The algorithm tripped and fell. Rico raised a slice of pizza. To the algorithm. They all raised their cups. To the algorithm. For the first time in a long time, the house felt light. But peace never lasted long on Magnolia Street. The next morning, Duchess Lala posted again. "Some houses need trophies because they lack truth." Taj saw it first. He screamed so loud Rico dropped his laptop. Celeste came downstairs with one slipper on. "What happened?" Taj held up his phone. "This glitter-covered demon is still posting." Milan grabbed his phone. "Do we respond now?" Celeste took the phone, read the post, and smiled. "No." Everyone groaned. "Mother." Celeste walked to the trophy and dusted it with her sleeve. "Let her talk. She has posts. We have proof." Kingston nodded. "That's actually classy." Taj frowned. "I hate when maturity makes sense." Rico opened his laptop. "Well, while y'all mature, I'm about to take a survey about laundry detergent." Blue sat at the piano by the window and began playing a soft melody. Milan watched the room. The sunlight came through the curtains. The trophy shined. Celeste stood like a queen in a house that still needed repairs. Kingston looked tired but peaceful. Taj was pretending not to care. Rico was chasing coins. Blue was turning life into music. Milan lifted his phone, but this time he didn't record. He just looked. Some moments were not content. Some moments were family. Later that night, Celeste called everyone to the living room. "Oh Lord," Kingston said. "A meeting." Celeste sat in her chair. "Yes, a meeting, because this house is changing." Nobody joked. She continued. "After last night, people are watching. They see the shine. They see the laughs. They see the drama. But I need y'all to remember who we are when nobody is clapping." Blue nodded. "We're family." Celeste smiled. "Yes, but family is not just a word you say when the cameras are on. Family is dishes, rent, truth, forgiveness, showing up." Taj looked down. "I know I'm messy." Kingston muttered, "Breaking news." Taj threw a napkin at him. Celeste kept going. "Milan, your gift is real. But don't let views decide your value." Milan swallowed. "Yes, mother." Kingston, "You work hard. But don't let the world make you bitter." Kingston nodded. "Taj, your mouth is powerful. Use it to build sometimes, not just burn." Taj sighed. "I'll try." "Rico, your surveys are." She paused. Everyone waited. "Creative." The room burst out laughing. Rico pointed at her. "That was shade. That was mercy." Then she looked at Blue. "Anne,